Hey, good morning. It's Reggie Pegues, the Prospering Dad, and it is Wednesday, middle of the week. Hope you guys are having a tremendous week, and you're getting some stuff done. That you're really accomplishing some things that you set out to do. And if you haven't, just readjust and just keep going for it. That's what you do each and every day. Good morning, Carl Olson. Good morning, Anna Maria Sanchez. Good morning, cousin James Pegues. How you guys doing? So today we're going to talk about push past your fear of change. Push past your fear of change. But if you are following me and you're on YouTube, we're now over here on Facebook Live. So indulge me as people come on and I acknowledge them in real time, like Reginald Thompson. Good morning. Guys, please type in the comments. Let me know where you are viewing from. Type in hashtag live, hashtag replay, or hashtag new if you're a first time viewer. So push past your fear of change. Hey Louie, good to see you. Push past your fear of change. One of the things that we really have to realize, and you just got to accept it, is the fact that change is inevitable. Change is continuous. Change is like time. It doesn't stop. It's like breathing. You know what I mean? It just happens. Regardless of how you feel about it, change happens. Now, like I said, I've been sharing this week with you guys, Who Moved My Cheese. You really need to get this book so you can get a good understanding about, in this very simplistic but poignant story of the value of change, how change is important for us. But we have different aspects of our characteristics. We have some people who resist change. And regardless of the fact that change is inevitable and change is going to happen whether you participate or not, they sit there and they're just like, I'm not going to change. I'm going to wait for whatever it is that I feel has changed to come back to me. And then there's other people that you might perceive as being successful. And what they do is, good morning, Kim, good to see you. What they do is they see change and they react to change, or they're looking for change and they anticipate the change. So it's better to move on than to stay put. It's better to move on than to stay put. What do I mean by that? As I said, many people resist change. They resist it. Your job, you start seeing people on your job getting laid off, or you start seeing people, that the company is making changes. They want to change policy. They want to change operations. They want to change management even. And you sit there and you go, well, I'm not changing. Well, the only person that's being hurt is you, because the change is going to happen with or without you. I find that often in my businesses, when I work with entrepreneurs, when I do my coaching sessions, one of the biggest things that they can't handle is like if the company decides to change the comp plan or decides to change the product, well, I don't like that. Well, you got one or two choices. You can stay in your feelings, or you can adjust to the change. You become adaptable because change is inevitable. But it's better to move on. Because see, what you'll find is that when you stay in that place so firmly rooted in, I'm not going to change, I'm going to stay this way, and I'm going to wait until it happens, until it comes back around, what you're going to be doing is waiting. So it's better to just move on. It's better to adjust. Life changes. That relationship that you're in, it evolves. And if you're not growing, and if you're not doing things to cultivate that relationship, to bring something new to it, if your partner is not bringing something new to it, it becomes stale, it becomes moldy, it becomes corroded, and you end up miserable. Let's face it. A relationship takes work. but it also has to implement the fact that it's constantly changing. You're constantly changing as a person. The other person is constantly changing as a person. So your finances are constantly changing. Your circumstances are constantly changing. Physically, you're constantly changing. Change is all around. It's all around us. Hey, my sister, good morning, good morning, good morning, Kathy. Thank you for joining. So it's about constant change. Change is inevitable. Change is something that we cannot do anything about. We have to be adaptable. We have to be ahead of the curve instead of behind the curve. We have to understand that we need to change and not be so rigid and so stubborn as to resisting the opportunity to move on and do something different. Most of us think that when we change, when we're changing, whatever it is, when we're changing, when our circumstances changes, when our situations are changing, when our finances change, when our relationships change, when our children change, when our jobs change, when our businesses change, that we're losing something. That we're losing something by changing. Well, the truth of the matter is not that we're losing something. It's just that the environment or the conditions have changed and we have to adjust. And we oftentimes look at change as though we're losing something instead of having the opportunity to gain something. I had to learn that about 5 years ago when I decided to fire my boss and create my business, that I knew, and you guys that follow me regularly, you know I constantly talk about this, that if you don't see the thing that you want in your life right now, it's just because you haven't become the person that you need to be. Change. That's change. I'm in a position right now where I'm changing. I'm doing something. I'm on a 90-day run. It's the last quarter of the business year. And between now and the first of the year, there are some changes I need to make to get to where I want to go in my business and subsequently in my life. So as we talk about personal development, I work on myself each and every day, as I recommend that you do, to learn something new, to become better each and every day. Because, see, it's not about my business, it's not about my company, it's not about my products. It's about the better I become and the better servant leader that I become and the better that I understand how to serve and help people grow, to help them reach their goals. The law of reciprocity comes into play, and as the more that I pour into people, the more I receive. So the change is, how do I get better every day? How do I continue to evolve? How do I continue to become more? How do I continue to work and walk into my purpose? What I was designed for, what I was created for. So I don't look at change anymore. And you know, I'm not knocking anybody, because I'm telling you that I had to actually progress from that mindset to where I am now, and to continue to evolve that mindset, that I had to adjust and adapt to the fact that successful people understand that change is part of the process. And in order for them to reach their goals and reach their dreams and achieve the successes that they want to have in their life, they have to understand and embrace the fact that change is part of the equation. So when change occurs, for example, it's about how you think about it. So if you think that you're losing something, then your mindset and everything that you do is going to be based on that reality. Consequently, if you understand that change is good and you embrace that and you just say, hey, listen, you know, I'm excited about something new. I'm excited about learning. Yes, I might have a little fear about it. I might have a little, trepidation about it. But it's good that you realize that at the end of it, this is something could be good on the other end of change. On the other end of change. Now, are all changes good? No. Let's be real. All changes are not good. Some changes that you might make, you might go from, let's say, I keep talking about relationships, but you may go from being in a solid relationship and for whatever reason you decide that you want to change. Somebody else, you're attracted to somebody else catches your attention or whatever. And you make that change. And then you come to find out subsequently, because you weren't paying attention, that other person isn't necessarily good for you. And the person that you left was actually where you needed to be. That's happened to me more than once in my lifetime. But the reality of it is, all changes are not necessarily good, but it doesn't differentiate from the fact that change happens. Okay? So when you change, it's not always that you're going to lose something. Look at the fact of what you could be gaining, right? What we think that change will lead to something, when we think that change will lead to something worse, and oftentimes it will lead to something better, depending on if we are prepared for it, depending on if we see it coming. You know, being born and raised in New York City and not always being a saint, for lack of a better term, right? I used to do things. You know, I was I could be transparent. At one point in my life, I was a pharmaceutical distributor. Okay. You would call it a drug dealer. But I was a pharmaceutical distributor in my early youth. And one of the things that you had to learn if you were going to be part of the street game was you had to spot people on the approach, because if you let someone get too close to you, they can either come to create harm or rob you or, you know, whatever it is. But you had to spot them on the approach. You had to spot them on the approach. You had to see them way before they got into your personal space, because if you allowed them to get into your personal space, it generally was too late. Okay? So that's a skill that I've maintained throughout my entire life. I spotted on the approach, but it's the same thing with change. When I see change coming, I'm looking for change. I expect change, so I adapt to change and I do what's necessary. So when the change comes, as many other people that I may know who might be in the same circumstance end up getting wiped out, I end up making the correct adjustment. Okay? Now you are capable of doing the same things, but you have to become more aware. You got to find out, and who will my cheese out of the 4 characters, who are you? What character are you? Are you him who's always pessimistic and he's just going to sit there and say, look, I don't like change, I don't want to change, I'm not going to change? Or you could be like Ha, who was his partner, and say, you know what, I might not like change, but I realize that changing is probably to my best interest. Or you can be like Sniff and Scurry, who were the mice in the story, who saw change, anticipated change, didn't think, overthink it, and they just made the adjustment. Okay? Lastly, change is continual. It's continual. Change is continual. It's something that happens. There's nothing that you can do about it. It's like trying to stop time or trying to stop the wind from blowing. It's going to happen. So you have to make the adjustment as to what are you going to do? What you going to do about change? What you say, Carl? I was so freaked out when I read that book and realized I was one of the characters. Well, Carl, we're all 4 characters. We're all 4 characters are in each and every one of us. Okay. The lesson of the book is deciding which character that you're going to be the most, who you're going to focus on the most. And the reality of it is, I'm not going to do the spoiler alert because I no longer make decisions for people. I want you to read the book and you have to decide. But 3 out of the 4 characters, good morning, Clara. Good morning. So good to see you. 3 out of the 4 characters are real possibilities. Real possibilities that you need to incorporate in terms of creating your success. So that's what I'll say about that. But like I said, change is continual. So there's nothing that you can do about change. So there's no point in resisting it. That's just like Les Brown said. The one thing about life, nobody gets out of it alive. I'll let that sink in. The thing about life is nobody gets out of it alive, meaning that inevitably every person eventually is going to die. I don't say that to be morbid, but it's just a fact. So it's change. Change is inevitable. There's nothing that you can do about it. It's going to happen. You might as well either embrace the fact that change happens or not. But you're choosing your own consequences. There are people that, as I said, I focus on relationships. So, there are people that, that relationship ended. Dude's been gone for umpteen years. Girlfriend been gone for umpteen years. And you still focusing on that. Now they done moved on with their life, change happened, they moved on with their life, done got with somebody else, and you still sitting in the same spot mad. There's no benefit. There's no benefit. There's no benefit to you. So guys, as I said, push past your fear of change. Learn to embrace change. Again, this simple book, Who Moved My Cheese, is something that will really, really, really help you, because the more that you read it, the more that you understand it, and the more that you can make the corrections. You can identify with what character you are. There's only 4. You can identify with the character that you may be, and you can push past that. You can push past that. We're created and designed to grow, not to become stagnant, okay? But there are people that make the choice to be stagnant. And you don't have to be. Change. It sounds simpler than it is, but change. You have that ability. So guys, I hope that you got some value out of today. I thank each and every one of you for joining me. If you are not a subscriber, go to my YouTube channel, Hollis. Not Hollis, I'm sorry. My YouTube channel now is Reggie, R-E-G-G-I-E-B, Pegues, P-E-G-U-E-S. If you are not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button so as I upload new content, you'll be the first to know. Like whatever video that you watch on my channel. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you like and got value out of today's live, please drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about change, right? Secondly, hit the notification button here, particularly if you want to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm acting like a New Yorker today. I'm speaking really fast. And you know, hit the notification button so you know when I come on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, and like this video. Hit the button. It's not only take you a second. Hit the button. You know, like it so more people can get this word. Share this video on your wall because somebody that you know needs this word today. So again, don't be afraid of change. Embrace change. Change is good. It helps you. It'll keep you ahead of the curve. You'll be able to live the life that you want to the abundance that you would like to have it if you just adapt to change. So that's all I got today, guys. I'm just so grateful for each and every one of you. I want you guys to have a great Wednesday. I will see you again Friday morning, 10 a.m. See you there.